Hello TSG, this is Kurt Holfeder here, and this is your September 20-minute challenge. This month we're going to be focusing on body mechanics regarding keeping the hands and feet coordinated together while allowing a lot more of a full body routine to kind of build up some dexterity and capabilities there. So with that being the case, the purpose of this right here is this is not necessarily a martially tactical consideration, although there are tactics in this that are howling, if you will, but the point of this is to get the body to move in a way that allows for us to employ full body dynamic and to kind of warm up all joints in the area, to kind of loosen up everything, not be so controlled in the hands. So to start off with that, big areas right here, focus on the wrists, especially the wrists, all the way up into your shoulder area. Same thing with the hips. Make sure you start with motivators, doing up and down motions there, and then moving into squats as well as leg hinging type of motions there. And then from there, we're going to just for blade work in turn is, as usual, we're still going to utilize our blade raisers. And this right here, we're focusing on, again, allowing this pocket to be built in the portion of our hand. You don't have to be so loose with this, but to allow for certain actions right here to move up and down with this. Same side, both sides. The other thing we're going to focus on this too is we're going to one-handed blade rotations. So that is choking up on this, and it's just going to be so I'm hitting with the false edge. False. So instead of coming up with a strong variant, I'm allowing this to go forward. Same thing here. Both sides. We want to get this is an extension of more of those wrist rotations we're talking about, but this right here allows for a lot of fluidity right here. And you can already tell, because if it was just my wrist, you can't do it. So my arm has to start coming in and out here like a hinge to allow these motions to go. Okay. So once you've done those, again, those are the same thing. So we've done basic strengthening of wrist into one-handed wrist rotations. And again, if you're able to, do the same thing with one. You can go far the way as possible. Note of this right here is you want to make sure that this is passing through as if you were cutting through on it. Okay. Next one we're going to go into is your basic windmills. Again, utilizing the full body dynamic. And then the last drill I'm going to talk about here is kind of complicated. It looks kind of awkward, but it is very important for us. It's going to be, even though this is a warm-up section, this is also kind of like the blade warm-up portion that's going to go into the main event here. And that's blade rotators. And that being the case more along the lines of, in this right here, we're going to keep ourselves forward, left foot forward, right foot back. And as we do this, we're going to perform the basics of a Sturzhau. And a Sturzhau is, if I'm here, I'm coming up and I'm coming down, I'm striking with that false edge. Imagine if you're hitting the neck. And all I'm going to do from here is come down. This is coming down this way. Right? Once you've done that side, switch your feet. Same thing. Hop over. Again, you're striking with that short edge. This is getting out of the shoulders and partially the hips getting involved as well. So once you've done this way, then from here, execute it by going overhow and now true edge. And again, we're just playing in this area. And the arms being out. You're not cocking up like this. Arms out in front of you. You're strengthening the shoulders. You're not going to try to force into it. If you start straining coming up this way, stop for a second, let yourself stretch out and do that piece, okay? So start off going here, boom, do 5, just to get the motion. Remember, come here, boom, down with this. And then from here, take that step in, and now cut with the true edge. Same thing again on the other side. Hopping over, opposite foot. There's a reason why you're doing it this way. Through, false edge, through your target, through your target, through your target, through your target, and then here. Okay. So that's the above position. Now we have to cover the below position. And mind you, if you're not able to do the full major event of this, stick with this right here. It is a great way of building strength within your wrists, your shoulders, your arms, and allowing your body to dynamic within your cutting variables. So that's the Sturzhau and the Oberhau in that area right there. And they're both Oberhaus. One's just a false edge cut down. The other one is a true edge cut down. And do it on both sides. 5 and switch, 5 and switch. The next one is from below. In this case, left foot forward, right foot back, we're on this side. We're going to be in the tail guard. I'm going to hit with the false, with the Wechsel. I'm coming up, and again. I'm allowing a cut to come up an angle. Then, take that step with a regular Unterhau using the strong. Passing through, passing through. Switch your side. Up, up, up. And then here, once you step back to here, come up with the true edge. So again, this right here, if you look at the hands, true edge, false edge. For those that study Montante or Meyer, I mean, these are very similar moves that come into this. But this is just a warm-up piece right there to allow you to get your upper and lower hanging cut guards into motion here for what the main event is. And the main event is putting this all together. Now I'm going to walk this out very slowly. Again, the purpose of this at speed, the faster you go, is to get better body dynamics. And as a little added bonus, you can combine these together in the end, both forward and backwards. And it just helps as far as being able to pivot, use the full body, and to build technique into place. It's a fantastic drill that I got to be a part of a couple years back. So starting off here, what we're going to do is we're going to get into that right side tail guard that you see. And we're going to start there, and we're going to advance this forward in the cutting. I'm going to step back so you can see this. You'll notice it's false edge, don't step, true edge, step. False edge, don't step, true edge, step. Notice the hand coming up with the false. You don't step into that other portion because ultimately, as you start building up speed with this, and start with the Unterhaus and using Wechselhau and Unterhau as a means of building up this capability. So as you start to move forward with this, it becomes a little bit more fluid. Each time it passes through, you'll notice, boom, up and down. So I'm coming up to that ox and then winding back down. It's a little bit weird in my description, but that's the best way I could describe that. You can do this forward and back as I just demonstrated there. Either way, you don't step until you move on the Unterhau, the second cut, your true edge cut on that. The next portion of this is, now we're going to take that above cutting into this, and we're going to utilize this also, utilizing that Sturz to Oberhau motion. Demonstrating again. You notice once again, false edge, don't step, true edge, step. False edge, don't step, true edge, step. Each time you're ending up, I know it looks like it's going to ox, but you're passing through and coming up here, and then as you shoot across, that's when the transfer of this comes across or comes across. Either way on that, okay? Just like with the cuts from below, so too from the cuts from above. And you can utilize this going forward and backwards, building fluidity, like I said, to step forward and backwards as far as your drill is concerned. Again, notice that right there, these cuts, these are martial cuts. I'm cutting through, trying to strike the back of the neck. Boom, boom. So, that there alone is a lot of there's a lot of coordination, eye-hand coordination, wrist coordination, everything else that comes with this. The key to this is don't over grip the weapon. Allow your body to move. And above all, relax and breathe. If you don't breathe through this, you're gonna find you're out there and you're gonna start thinking again. Breathing is as much important about running and other aspects as well as it is about thinking. If this has no oxygen, you won't be able to perform the techniques. Go slow with this. Take your time because it builds up a lot of things. So now, this is more of a, this is the added bonus of this, and you can utilize this to build fluidity in all your motions. That's the whole point of this, is fluidity, ease of motion, ease of action. And that is going forward and backwards, but instead of stepping this way, turning in between. And that goes into the portion of recognizing what guard or hoot you're in with each section of the motion. Notice right there I stop because you can tell ultimately that cut comes up over here. As I'm coming here, if I shift myself, I'm now in this guard, up and up. And it's the same thing over and over again. Same thing if I come up to here. If I shift, I can go forward and back with that as well. So it's consistently transitioning between that, but depending on which guard you want to go in. It doesn't matter. You don't have to go in between that, but it's a great way to be able to transfer. Now for forward and back, going a little bit slower so you can start seeing the hand positions in there. All this is, once I realize, as I pass through this motion right here, up, up, and coming up, I notice that as I come up, if I shift, I'm now in this position to continue that attack. So, now looking forward and back. here. And all I'm going to do is come up. For those that play golf, that's exactly it. So that's your 20-minute challenge for this month. It's kind of a beast, not gonna lie, and I absolutely love it. The faster you go with this, the easier it becomes. In the very beginning, it's gonna be very sluggish and be like, how does this hand go for this? But ultimately, if you find yourself getting lost, remember, false edge, don't step, true edge, step. False edge, don't step, true edge, step. The next piece about that is, if you find yourself, once you get to the finish of your true edge, boom, once you get here, you'll notice if I shift, you are now in this guard. Or, in this case right here, false edge, true edge, shift, I'm in this guard. Either way, you have fluidity of motion that you can build up some dexterity, some footwork drills, and full body dynamics. None of this, my hands are very light when it comes to swinging this. So one last time, demonstrating it over here, forward and backwards. I'll go slow, and I can start showing you as far as what this looks like as far as adding speed, and then also one more right here, and then we'll call it for that. Okay. Now it's speed. One more time forward and back. We'll keep this a little bit slow here. So again, you can see and analyze this as it goes slowly. Watch the hand transition. This is why the false edge you don't step. Because if you'll notice, false edge, don't step, true edge, step. From here, false edge, don't step, true edge, step. I need to give myself time to get into position. So like I said, this is a great drill for building up biodynamics. I hope it helps out. Cool down stretches, especially focus on the shoulders and the wrist areas and the arms because you're gonna put a lot of tension there. If you find yourself getting hit with the cross, your hands are too tight. If you find your knees are starting to buckle, watch your stepping. Allow yourself to pivot, breathe through this. And if you find yourself really having a hard time breathing with this, nose, mouth, breathe through this. Anyway, I'm Kurt Holfreiter, and thanks for all tuning in, and again, hope to see you all soon, especially as it gets colder here. Hopefully our fights will keep us warm in the months to come. All right, take care. Fight on.